Hello, YouTube. I know you're used to a different host, but for this time of year, I've been called in to take over. Well, not so much called as broken and not gonna leave until I'm done. And don't worry, I've taken precautions to ensure we won't be interrupted.
Why is the door locked from the outside if we're trying to keep people from getting in? I don't get it.
I will never be stopped anyway. Last year, the actual host for this show decided to talk about a Halloween series from her childhood. That idiot. I'm doing the smarter thing. I'm talking about a show that I've never seen before. Because going and selling blind is always a good idea. Yeah, okay, so this show I've only seen the first episode of so far and only found out about it 2 months ago. So, yeah, I really don't know that much about this. Pretty much it's a horror anthology series from the early 2000s that is pretty much the Twilight Zone. And yeah, that's one of the things with it, that there are twists in all these episodes, or at least in most of them that I've seen so far, all 2 of them. So yeah, you have been warned for spoilers on this, because yeah, I do want to talk about the twists. But yeah, it's a very blatant ripoff of the Twilight Zone, with there even being a host that introduces the show and concludes it. However, unlike the Twilight Zone, he's played by Henry Rollins, because yeah, amazingly they couldn't get Rod Sterling for this masterpiece. Also, I think they was dead at this point. But yeah, also Henry Rollins just really isn't that great of a host for this show. For one, it just sort of looks like he's just reading off of a cue card, which, yeah, admittedly, I can see why you didn't put that much energy into this show. It only got like 12 episodes, so yeah, I can actually really understand why you're just like, yeah, so this is what happens. Anyway, let's get into it. So yeah, I can get him rushing there, but also his segments feel very sort of half-assed into the episode. It just sort of feels like, oh wait, this isn't Twilight Zone-y enough. What can we do to make it more Twilight Zone? And we can add a host into it. Brilliant idea! Let's get Henry Rollins on the phone! Why him? I don't know, just because. Call him. So, yeah, and then his parts are like 5 seconds per episode. He's just like, this is the story that you're about to see anyway, let's get into it. And then at the end, he's just sort of spouts out some random sort of knowledge that sort of plays into it, and then he's just like, yeah, okay, that's it, we're done. End it. Give me my paycheck. And that's kind of it. And, yeah, honestly, he doesn't really have the same charisma or as sort of classy persona to him as Rod Sterling did. The host on the Twilight Zone, he was always sort of this mysterious person that you wonder, how does he have a connection to all these things? What exactly does he know about all this? Is he a part of the Twilight Zone? There was a real mystery surrounding him. With Henry Rollins, it just sort of seems like he, I don't know, pulled out a case file and was just like, yeah, I should talk about this for a few seconds, and then just sort of put it away, not to really care about it. So yeah, let's actually talk about the first episode. And yeah, one thing that is needed to be known about this is that there are actually 2 stories per episode. Yeah, this show is an hour per episode, so yeah, pretty much it's split into 2. So, unlike the Twilight Zone, we got 2 stories per episode, so yay, more for our buckle here. Yay. Yeah, okay, so the Twilight Zone did actually get an hour-long episodes for Season 4, but yeah, that didn't really carry on to Season 5, and as far as I know, yeah, there weren't 2 episodes in that. They just sort of stuck to one that they kept on exploring more. Something that this show could have done, but decided, nah, let's not. So, yeah, pretty much the first episode, the first story in the first episode is Passenger List. We follow an investigator named Jeremy Bell who's trying to find out how this plane crashed, and he thinks that it happened in the air, and that's sort of all that he says. Why did they bring him to this crime scene? Seriously, all that he says is, yeah, I think that this happened in the air. Well, we think that happened on the ground. It happened in the air. You're gonna see. I'm gonna prove you all wrong. And that's sort of his contribution to this investigation. he was very needed to be called in on this. However, the case does get a bit more personal for him when he thinks that his daughter, who's been dead for 2 years, was on the plane. So you might think, oh, well, maybe this is a way for him to just deal with what happened to his daughter. Well, now we're going into the spoiler part of it. Well, when he goes to see what he thinks is her body, the coroner, who is played by the principal from Twin Peaks, by the way, that was just sort of cool to me. He reveals that it was actually his body, and yeah, then he wakes up and he finds out that he's on the plane, which has a crack in it and is going to crash, and it does, and then the episode ends on this really odd, out-of-tone part where it's like they're slowly going through all the debris, and then they cut to his pager, and yeah, there's just some old music playing, and it's silly, honestly. It doesn't match the rest of the tone, which was a much more serious feel to it, which honestly is kind of weird. I really don't know why they didn't just decide, like, I don't know, just to show his pager without the music. The music just sort of adds this weird sort of feel to it. I feel like they were trying to be like, oh yeah, this is like The Shining. Haha, yes, we are just as masterful as Stanley Kubrick. But yeah, no, it's just old music. Just because you play old music on it doesn't mean that it has some meaning to it. His pager wasn't even that important. We saw it once in this episode, and that was it. So yeah, really, it's just not. I'm sorry, that just does not have the same impact as I feel like they were going for. Instead, it's a kind of silly ending to an overall pretty serious story. And yeah, as is, it's okay. Alright, so yeah, the twist in it, I will say, is very predictable, but I honestly think that was handled decently. Now, okay, yeah, it does leave some questions in the air, like, okay, was Jeremy sidekick or something? Why was his dream so specific to the events of what actually happened? Why did he dream that this woman sitting next to him was the mother of these 2 kids on here? Like, what? Why did she think that exactly? Why did he think that exactly? Was there any evidence to prove that? We're never seen any. So, like, there's just, oh, and also, why he's actually on the plane. That is probably the biggest mystery of this whole thing that never gets answered. Kind of. Pretty much the reason why he's on there is to go see his daughter, who, like I said, was dead. So, was he gonna go see her grave? Is this like the anniversary of her death? So he's gonna go visit her grave and just sort of, try and move on with his life? Did he kill her? And this is just because he says that he got into a fight with her 2 years ago, which is when it said that she died. So, like, did he kill her? I mean, like, that's a legitimate question there, because he hasn't really talked to her ever since. Like, is she still alive and he just dreamed that she was dead for some reason? I don't know why he would dream about that. Did he just not like his daughter and was just like, man, I wish that she was dead, fell asleep, and then dreams that she was? Like, or was this just his way of interpreting their fight? So, like, really, there's a whole lot of questions with this that I have, and they never answer it. His daughter is completely insignificant in this whole entire thing outside of to try and make you feel more bad for Jeremy because his daughter maybe is there to mourn him. That's kind of all. So, yeah, it's just, why? What was the point of her in this episode? I mean, like, the actress isn't even that good, I gotta say. Like, she has this constant weird smile on her face. It's weird. And that's her only scene. She just has this weird smile on her face. When she's being mysterious and, like, sort of being seen just out of the corner of his eye, that's kind of more interesting. And, yeah, I think that she had a much better performance there when she doesn't say anything. And then when she's just smiling throughout a whole phone conversation, because apparently it's the best phone conversation that she's ever had in her life. And then there's also Jeremy himself. He's okay. Now, for the first part in the episode, he's just a very bland character. Pretty much, he's sort of been hardened to everything that's happened because, yeah, he's probably been on the force for a while and stuff. That makes sense, but then after that, when his daughter gets involved, he gets a little bit more emotive, which is kind of nice. And then when he's on the plane, he's actually a much more likable character and has a bit more of a personality being shown. But still, there's also the first half, which is pretty boring, and yeah, we don't really get to know that much about him outside of his daughter maybe is dead, and he has a hard time accepting that, potentially, or he has a hard time accepting their fight. So, yeah, that's kind of all. Oh, and he might be psychic. Why, I don't know. But yeah, still, that's kind of all there is to him, and yeah, while he's okay, he's still not all that interesting. So yeah, for the first story for it, it's alright, and one thing that I do have to give it is that it has some pretty good cinematography, despite some effects, mostly on the plane at the end, which, oh my god, the effects on that were so bad. The cinematography is actually pretty decent in this episode, and it has some really nice shots to it. My personal favorite would sort of be him looking at the cracked mirror or the crack in the glass. So yeah, pretty much anything that's broken I liked seeing. So yeah, this was a pretty decent cinematography episode, but not much else for it outside of that. Then there's the second episode, which is... And that right there is what drew me to this show. So if you're a fan of Stephen King or John Carpenter, that name might be a little bit familiar to you. Why? Because he played Arnie in Christine. And yeah, after that he decided to go into a career with directing. And yeah, I'm a bit mixed on that. On the one hand, I really loved him as Arnie, and he does a great job in that film. So I would honestly kind of like to see more of him acting, but on the other hand, he's directed 10 episodes of Dexter and the season 2 finale of Legion. So yeah, his career's going pretty well for him. So, yeah, for this episode, his directing style is okay. It's a bit generic, honestly. Like, really, it's just sort of very simple directing. Like, there's no real shots that are particular standouts. Maybe outside of the point of view shot from the corpse where its head is covered up. I thought that was pretty cool, but other than that, though, it doesn't really seem to have that much that differentiates it from just sort of any other type of directing. Story before this one had a whole lot more style to it, and I think that one just sort of stood out more in that aspect. That said, that's pretty much the biggest plus that the last story had as comparison to this one, as this one goes much more of a horror route. Pretty much two coroners, Paul and Cheryl. Cheryl. Is she short, black hair, just turned 7 last month? No, she's not that, Cheryl. I just like referencing Silent Hill. The game, not the movies. The movies suck. But, yeah, pretty much they are two coroners who were recently engaged. Aww, they found love with dead bodies. So beautiful. So, yeah, pretty much they are recently engaged, and they are waiting around to finish this one post-mortem on their friend Diane. Why are they waiting for her? I don't know, if I'm being honest. There is really no reason for them to wait here. Like, it's very late at night, so I'm pretty sure this is their last body, because it doesn't seem like it looks like they've already finished up all the others for now, so why wait on her for this long? Is she just really good at the brain part of the postmortem? So why'd you already do all the others? Or are you guys just really lazy? Or are you just like the night shift or something? Like, really, I really don't get why they're waiting for her. They've already done the Y incision on this guy. There is no reason to wait. But anyway, yeah, Diane finally shows up, and yeah, then some random guy named Richard also shows up, and he says, hey, is everything cool? Okay, good, I'm glad it's all cool, bye. So yeah, Diane wonders why that scene happened, and well, pretty much he stole drugs recently, and they're trying to keep it really secretive. That's why they told Diane. Though to be fair, she is a trusted friend. This will come back later. Anyway, so yeah, they finally decide to remove the cloth over the dead body's face, which was on there for some reason I really don't get. But yeah, anyway, so they finally decide to remove that, and Diane freaks. Why? Because there's a tattoo on its head. Now, not the creepy expression on its face or the skeletal appearance of the thing overall. No, just this tattoo. Honestly, though, I do like the look of this corpse. It is really pretty creepy and eerie looking. And yeah, honestly, I think that it can be really creepy, especially when it's walking towards them at night. Yeah, we'll get to that. But, yeah, pretty much Diane freaks out about it. Why? Because, well, it turns out that that tattoo obviously means that he was an evil voodoo priest in life, and okay. He's an evil voodoo priest in life, and that tattoo means that now he cannot come back to life to wreak evil voodoo vengeance on anything. So, yeah, that's a important plot point. This story's a little bit silly, but yeah, anyway, they decide, and heck with evil voodoo curses, let's just cut right into it because they have a job to do. So yeah, they decide to cut into it, and then Diane's just like, oh, this is too much, I gotta go have a coffee break. You guys coming? They said, yeah, okay. Because wasting more time is a really great idea. Seriously, why did they just do this post-mortem before she got here? But yeah, anyway, so yeah, they take a while for a coffee break, and when they go back, the body is gone, as are its internal organs. But at the very least, it's a very nice and clean, evil, dead voodoo priest that decided to hang up the bags on a billboard. Why did it waste time doing that? I don't know. Anyway, though, Diane runs outside, so they decide, yeah, that's a really safe place to go. You know, it's outside, not to our cars or anything when a dead body just got up with internal organs missing. Yeah, that's a bad idea. Let's just go outside and see what she's up to. So they chase her into the woods and get lost because, you know, all those really wooded hospital areas. This looks like a pretty public hospital. I'm just saying, I haven't been to many with a lot of woods around it, or at the very least this many that causes them to get lost. I mean, seriously, they ran for like a minute. Can they not just go back around and just get out? I'm just saying, it's not that hard, but yeah, anyway, so Diane sees the dead body, and it starts walking towards them, and they fall into a pit. Or a grave. And, yeah, the body falls in there, too. Why? Because it was just a dead body. If you didn't see this twist coming, then, well, I can't help you there. It was pretty obvious, honestly. So, yeah, anyway, Richard, that, hey, is everything cool guy from earlier, yeah, it turns out that, him and Diane have had a bit of a thing for a while now, and yeah, I mean, like, things just aren't going to work out with them and Paul and Cheryl. They're never going to be able to go on a double date. Why? Because, well, Richard doesn't trust them anymore because they told Diane about the drugs. They told a trusted friend about the drugs. That trusted friend stole. Yeah, really, the reason for all this is very dumb to me. I mean, seriously, like, I guess that people have killed over less, but I mean, like, really? They told a trusted friend about this. Is that really that horrible that requires being buried alive? But yeah, that's exactly what they do. Such great friends. And honestly, I felt kind of bad for Cheryl and Paul. I really did actually like their characters. I mean, it seemed like at the beginning they'd kind of be annoying, just sort of like, you know, I don't know, they just sort of seemed like Scotty and Shelly from Evil Dead to me, just, you know, a little bit more annoying at the beginning, but no, as the episode progressed, I began to like them, and they were pretty likable characters. So, yeah, when they do die, I did feel a bit bad for them. But yeah, now it's just Diane and Richard, and Diane is freaking out again, because that's something that she's really good at. And yeah, why over this? Well, she lost a bracelet, and she thinks that she lost it while she was digging them alive. So, yeah, she's gonna go back there and get it back. But Richard decides that coming back to the scene of the crime that no one has seen was a big mistake, and decides to hit her on the head with a shovel. And then bury her alive as well. Why? I mean, like, is this just his way of breaking up with her? I don't get it, really. There's no reason to do this, man. There's no reason at all for this. But yeah, okay, sure, kill her, whatever. I really don't get why, or why he thought just hitting her on the head with a shovel will kill her. I mean, like, I get burying her alive, but, like, maybe, you know, finish the job or something. I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, you still did love her at least a bit, or at least you manipulated her enough to. So, like, I mean, you're not even gonna, I mean, like, she'll wake up eventually. This is a pretty harsh way to go out. Like, maybe, just do the humane thing and cut off her head with a shovel, Herbert West or Ash Williams style. Just do that. It's the humane thing to do. So yeah, anyway, he buries her alive, and yeah, then he just sort of goes back and is like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go get some sleep tonight. I'm sure everything will be fine. And then Diane comes back as well. You see, the reason why she actually knew about the voodoo spell thing and like the tattoo and stuff, yeah, it's because she is an evil voodoo priest, obviously. I just sort of forgot the actual name for it. So evil voodoo priest it is. So yeah, she comes back, and in probably my favorite scene of this episode, she kills him and gets revenge, and it's a pretty sweet death. And also, yeah, Diane is actually probably the most likable in this scene. Seriously, Richard was a jerk, and I don't mind seeing him die, because yeah, he really was a horrible person to very nice people like Paul and Cheryl. And yeah, Diane deserved to get vengeance on him. And also, it's probably the best scene for Diane, because before that she was either kind of whiny or just really paranoid about things, and yeah, it was just sort of annoying. So yeah, this is probably the best scene for both her and for Richard, because he dies. Okay, well, that's not true. Richard kind of acts over the top after they end up in the pit. So yeah, I really do like that bit as well. So yeah, for the second story, it's a much more horror-themed one, and yeah, I'm personally very thankful for that. And also, it's much superior compared to the last one. There are some pretty decent twists in it, like, I expected the dead body to actually come back to life and not Diane, so, I mean, I kind of thought, maybe she would, but I was hoping more to see that dead body again, because that thing was really creepy to me. Seriously, I like the look of that body. It was really pretty cool, but, yeah, that's probably the scariest thing that I've seen on this show so far, and yeah, honestly, I think that this is a much scarier and well-done episode than the last one. I mean, the last one is still pretty decent, and yeah, like I said, I do like the cinematography for it a lot, and yeah, that's definitely something that has up over this one, but overall, I think the twists in this story were done a bit better, and also the horror aspect was there much more, and that's sort of what I was looking for with this show a whole lot more. So, this episode delivered on aspects I really came to it for. That, and Keith Gorin directed it, so yeah, that was nice about it too. So yeah, that's pretty much it for episode 1. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Very much two coroners, Paul and Cheryl. Cheryl? Is she short, black hair, just turned 7 last month? No, she's not that Cheryl, but still, I like Silent Hill, so screw it, I can reference it whenever I want. So, yeah, pretty much Cheryl and Paul, they just got engaged, and they're two coroners waiting for their buddy Diane to show up, so then they can finally actually finish up this one body. Why they don't just, finish the post-mortem here? I mean, they've already done the Y incision. Like, why are you waiting on her? Or is she just really good at doing the brain part of the matter? So you just have to wait on her here. She's the best at that. So yeah, we should probably wait for her. So yeah, they decide to do that for some reason, but she freaks out because apparently this dead body, which honestly is actually kind of creepy, that's one thing that I honestly did really like about this episode was the look of the corpse. It has this really weird expression on it, and it's very skeletal. I really do like that look, and it's pretty creepy to just see it sort of moving around at night. So yeah, pretty much. And she freaks out about it because the tattoo on its head is pretty much a sign that means it's an evil voodoo priest, and they gotta lock up its soul so that it doesn't come back when it dies. This all makes sense. And why does she know that? Because her grandma told her. Course, and that's knowledge that she took with her the rest of her life, just on the off chance that, you know, maybe she could see another body like that. Anyway, though, some guy named Richard stops by and asks if everything's going alright, and Diane thinks that that's really weird, so she asks Paul and Cheryl what that means, and they say, oh yeah, we saw him stealing some drugs earlier, so yeah, that's why he's doing that. He's probably high right now, so yeah, anyway, yeah, so let's just cut up this body, and they do that. And Diane says, yeah, maybe we should take a break because, you know, coffee. I'm pretty tired even though I just got here. And yeah, that's not suspicious to them. So they decide, okay. So yeah, then when they get back, the body is gone, as well are all of its organs. And it hung up the bags on a billboard. Why exactly did it do that? I really do want to know, like, okay, yeah, I'll get into why this also doesn't make any sense later, but, like, why not just throw them on the floor? Or are you just a really tiny, dead, evil voodoo priest? But, yeah, okay, so pretty much they see Diane, who's already run out of the building, and they follow her, and she's just sort of ran off into the woods. You know, all those woods right next to hospitals, they're everywhere. You know, most of the hospitals that I see are, like, in pretty populated areas. I mean, I guess they could just be in a more rural area, but still, I don't know. I don't really see that many big woods around, but yeah, apparently it's so big that they can get lost in it, and yeah, they do exactly that. And then they fall into a hole or a grave, and why did they fall in there? Because they were chased by the dead body. Oh my god, the priest is not real, and they threw the corpse in. Shock. I honestly sort of saw that one coming too. Although then I also sort of suspected that that wouldn't be the case and he was actually a voodoo priest to come back to life, but then, yeah, we'll get into that. But, yeah, it turns out that Richard and Diane were working together all along. Why? Because they're in love. It makes total sense why Diane would decide to join in to murder for that. I mean, yeah, I get that love is strong and all, but you are killing two people that are your friends over this. Oh, and why are they even killing them? Because they saw him take the drugs. Has that never happened before to this guy? Like, they're not gonna tell anyone. Why would they? I mean, what possible reason would they have to be like, oh, hey, yeah, I mean, he's our friend and all, but yeah, let's just go ram him in. Unless if they see you, like, have an overdose or something. They don't really seem like the kind that would do that. And Diane's a friend. That's why they confided in her and told her that. But that's what makes Diane like, yeah, they told me, so we should probably do it. Because they're obviously going to tell a random stranger or police officer just because, you know, they asked. So, I mean, it's not like you even took that much. I mean, dude, you're really not gonna get in that much trouble for that, I don't think. But, yeah, okay, sure, be overly paranoid about this because your trustworthy friends told a trustworthy friend. Makes total sense. So, yeah, they decide to bury them alive because brutal deaths over something like this is totally worth it. But yeah, Diane freaks out because she thinks that her bracelet got stuck in the pit with them, so she goes back and tries to fish it out. But yeah, she turns out that Richard actually pawned it a while ago and decided, well, she came back to the scene of the crime that no one has seen yet, so obviously I gotta kill her. I really don't get that. I seriously don't. Like, do you just not want to be with her anymore? I don't get it, but whatever. So yeah, he hits her on the head with a shovel, thus death. That's how that works. I mean, it looked pretty hard, but that would just knock her out, I would think. You gotta go all Herbert West on this and cut off her head with a shovel. That's the only way that you can fully kill her. But yeah, he doesn't do that, and it turns out that she herself was the evil voodoo priest. That's why she knew about that ritual. And yeah, she didn't have the tattoo on her head, so yeah, she comes back and enacts revenge. That's probably the best part. Seriously, I love it when she got revenge. Admittedly, Diane had been a bit of an annoying character for this episode. I mean, like, she was overly freaked out about the body, and she was overly freaked out about a bracelet, and yeah, the other part, she murdered her friends, all because some guy who's clearly not trustworthy at all, and who she doesn't mind killing after, you know, he hits her with a shovel, because, yeah, you know, that destroys all romances. That's how, that just what causes a lot of romances to end. It's really sad, but yeah, that's all that really took for her to decide, yeah, no, I need revenge. Shit.